Good evening out there to all you wonderful peasants, and welcome to the Nightly News.
Tonight we are bringing you special coverage of the most spectacular upcoming event, the Crusade.
Unless you've been living under a rock or 1,000 years in the future, you are probably aware of the Pope's call to arms.
At the end of the Council of Clermont in France, which he had called, Pope Urban II announced his intention for the faithful Christians of Europe to take up arms in a thrilling speech given to the large crowd there, which we have a recording of. Very thrilling, if I do say so myself.
I concur.
A race, absolutely alien to God, has invaded the land of Christians, has reduced the people with sword, rapine, and flame. These men have destroyed the altars polluted by their foul practices. They have circumcised the Christians, either spreading the blood from the circumcisions on the altars or pouring it into the baptismal fonts. And they cut open the navels of those whom they choose to torment with loathsome death, tear out their most vital organs and tie them to a stake, drag them around and flog them before killing them as they lie prone on the ground with all their entrails out. What shall I say of the appalling violation of women, of which it is more evil to speak than to keep silent? On whom, therefore, does the task lie of avenging this, of redeeming this situation, if not on you, upon whom, above all nations, God has bestowed outstanding glory in arms, magnitude of heart, litheness of body, and strength to humble anyone who resists you?
At the end of the speech, the crowd responded with great cries of "God wills it."
God wills it!
Some sources report that he received the speech from a divinely inspired letter given to him by the incredibly popular French itinerant preacher Peter the Hermit. He is respected far and wide as a holy man. Yes, very holy, if I do say so.
Now Peter is traveling around France, trying to raise what is increasingly becoming known as the Peasants' Crusade. He is getting thousands of poor peasants prepared to leave for Constantinople right away, although the official date set by the Pope is August 15th, which is many months away.
Our team has had the pleasure of pinning him down for a few quick questions.
We're here with Peter the Hermit, the renowned French holy man. Monsieur Peter, is it true that you and your followers are preparing to leave for Constantinople now, even though the Pope has a date set for August 15th?
Aye, that is true. The sooner we leave, the more effective we will be.
Some people say that you are the one that sent the letter to the Pope calling for the Crusade. Your words?
Yes, that is also true. God came to me in a dream, and he told me that we must go fight, and we must defeat the Muslims.
So you mean God wills it?
Indeed, God does will it.
God wills it.
And after that vision, I wrote down my thoughts and what had occurred to me in that dream, and I sent it immediately to the Pope.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you.
Oh look, it's a wild cameraman in his natural habitat, falling asleep on the job after a long day of shooting. Let's get closer for a better look. Let's poke it on a stick. And now back to the studio.
Wow. You can just feel how zealous he is for the cause. Very zealous. What a holy man.
And now, here to assess the reasoning behind Pope Urban, we have our Nightly News political analyst.
And what exactly does this proposition by the Pope mean?
Yes, what Pope Urban II has proposed, specifically, is a holy war of sorts to the land in which Jesus walked, which is in the hands of the Muslims right now. He is calling the faithful Christians of Europe together to go and defend Christendom. The word crusade they are using to describe it comes from crux, Latin for cross.
And what, specifically, does he hope to accomplish with this?
This proposed war has many different goals. First is to help the Eastern Christians in the Byzantine Empire. Byzantine Emperor Alexius I has requested the assistance of the Pope to defeat the pugnacious Turks living in the surrounding area. The Byzantine Empire has been under attack for decades now. The second goal is the recapture of the Holy Land to make Christian pilgrimage safe again. The bellicose Turks are constantly fighting among one another. This has made pilgrimage very treacherous. Additionally, the Pope wishes to redirect violence between local lords to something more productive. The Pope, having called multiple times in the past for peace between the lords, hopes that this will give them a common enemy to fight instead of their fellow Christians.
Thanks. This event has really created quite the stir. And now we go to a short commercial break.
Welcome back to Nightly News, where we are continuing our special report on the upcoming Crusade.
And now we had our reporter Hugh collect some opinions about the Crusade.
His Holiness Pope Urban has called for a holy war. A war unlike any that has ever been fought. A war in which Christ's faithful soldiers will purge the Holy Land of the perfidious infidels and secure for Christians of all generations to come peace, vanquishing any threat of extremist groups that might terrorize the 21st century, such as ISIS, unless we fail. Of course I would go and fight for my God, except I have to finish copying this book, and I hope to do that before I die.
War is very treacherous, but I'm certain that God in His providence will provide protection for our warriors, since God wills it.
God wills it!
I'm very excited about this whole ordeal, with the war going on and everything. But me being a woman, I have to stay home and take care of the house. However, I sent my 2 sons to defend our faith in the war. And I told them, make sure to bring back riches for our family. This is a very big honor, you know, and we're all very excited.
When my husband told me that the Pope had announced that a crusade, I thought he was crazy. He's going on the crusade, but he doesn't care about the Muslims. He just wants to gain land and get rich.
As you can see, most people are pretty excited about the Crusades.
The Crusade is bringing together people far and wide for a common cause. But not quite everyone agrees.
True statement. One person who surprisingly agrees, I was quite surprised.
I was definitely surprised too.
Yes, Holy Roman Emperor Henry IV.
Henry IV is a long-known enemy of the Pope, dating back even before our Urban II, back to Gregory VII.
Henry IV famously got into a dispute with Pope Gregory over whose right it was to appoint bishops.
The Pope's, obviously.
When Gregory announced that the power was invested in the Pope alone, Henry responded to him with a letter condemning his papacy, in which he called him a false monk.
Silly monarchs.
And then, to make matters worse, he tried to appoint the Bishop of Milan, when the Pope had already chosen one.
In response, Gregory gave full force punishment. Rightly so. He excommunicated Henry and declared his Holy Roman Emperorship invalid.
Of course.
As an act of repentance, Henry famously walked barefoot in the snow in winter to personally apologize to the Pope. I hope he lost some toes doing that.
Coffee. Unfortunately, soon after, Henry changed his mind again and proclaimed his own Pope, Anti-Pope Clement III.
Despite all this, and despite Henry's continuing rejection of the current Pope, Godfrey of Bouillon, one of Henry's vassals, is preparing a large army for the Crusades, and is ready to fight at the request of Urban.
I mean, it really is shocking how powerful the call of the Crusade is.
Quite so, quite so. And that concludes our broadcast.
Good night, everyone, and remember, God wills it.
God wills it.